Have you ever looked around and felt like everyone else was moving faster than you? People posting wins. New jobs. Better bodies. Better relationships. Better lives. And you're sitting there, scrolling in silence, wondering when your moment is going to come. But here's the part nobody tells you. Most people don't lose because they are not talented. They lose because they keep announcing a version of themselves they never become. They talk about changing. They imagine changing. They even post about changing. But when the room gets quiet, when nobody is watching, when there is no applause, no attention, no motivation, they go back to the same habits that built the life they claim they hate. And maybe that's what scares you. Not failure. But the thought that one day, you might look back and realize you had enough time, enough chances, enough potential. You just kept waiting for the perfect moment to become serious. But what if your comeback doesn't start with a public announcement? What if your real transformation begins quietly? No audience. No validation. No dramatic speech. Just you, deciding that the old version of you has taken enough from your future. This is the quiet comeback. Build yourself while nobody is watching. And by the end of this video, you will understand why the most powerful version of you is not built in public. It is built in private. In the early mornings nobody sees. In the lonely nights when you still keep your promise. In the small decisions that feel meaningless today but slowly turn you into someone unrecognizable. Because the truth is, your life does not change when everyone notices. Your life changes long before that. It changes when you stop needing people to clap before you begin. Most people want the visible part of success. They want the body after the workouts. The confidence after the discipline. The money after the skill. The respect after the transformation. But they don't want the invisible season. The boring season. The season where your friends still see the old you. The season where your family still doubts you. The season where your results are not impressive yet. The season where you are doing the work, but nothing looks different from the outside. And that is where most people quit. Because silence feels like failure when you are addicted to attention. But silence is not failure. Silence is where your new identity is being built. Think about it. A seed does not grow in public first. It grows underground. Before anyone sees the tree, there are roots fighting through darkness. Before anyone sees the strength, there is pressure. Before anyone sees the fruit, there is a hidden battle happening beneath the surface. And your comeback is the same. The world may not see it yet. But that does not mean nothing is happening. It means the roots are forming. The first enemy of your quiet comeback is distraction. Not because distraction is always loud. Sometimes distraction looks harmless. One more video. One more episode. One more scroll. One more night of staying up too late. One more day telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. And the scary part is, wasted time rarely feels dangerous while you're wasting it. It feels comfortable. It feels normal. It feels like relief. But then weeks pass. Months pass. Years pass. And suddenly, the life you kept postponing starts feeling far away. You don't notice the cost immediately. You notice it when you wake up and realize your confidence is lower than it used to be. Your energy is weaker. Your standards are smaller. Your dreams feel embarrassing to say out loud because deep down, you know you have not been living like someone who was serious about them. Distraction does not usually destroy your life in one dramatic moment. It steals your future quietly. 5 minutes at a time. One bad habit at a time. One broken promise at a time. And here is the first hard truth. You cannot build a powerful life with a distracted mind. You cannot become disciplined while constantly feeding chaos. You cannot become focused while training your brain to chase every cheap hit of entertainment. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. Where your energy goes, your identity follows. So if your attention is always being pulled into other people's lives, other people's opinions, other people's drama, other people's success, then when do you actually build your own? This is where the quiet comeback begins. Not with a massive life change, but with one honest question. What is stealing my attention from the person I claim I want to become? And don't answer that question politely. Answer it brutally. Is it your phone? Your comfort? Your friend group? Your excuses? Your obsession with being seen? Your habit of starting strong and disappearing after 3 days? Because the comeback starts the moment you stop lying to yourself. Now, here is where it gets even deeper. Distraction is not just a time problem. It is often an emotional escape. Many people do not scroll because they are lazy. They scroll because they are avoiding the discomfort of facing themselves. They do not procrastinate because they are incapable. They procrastinate because action creates evidence. And evidence is terrifying. Because once you actually try, you no longer get to hide behind the fantasy of "I could do it if I really wanted to." That fantasy protects your ego. But it also keeps you stuck. As long as you never fully try, you can keep telling yourself that your potential is still untouched. But potential that is never used becomes pain. And that pain turns into regret. So ask yourself this. Are you really tired? Or are you avoiding the version of yourself that requires discipline? Are you really confused? Or are you scared that if you commit, you might discover how much work it actually takes? That question may sting. But it can also wake you up. Because your comfort zone does not always feel like comfort. Sometimes it feels like anxiety. Sometimes it feels like boredom. Sometimes it feels like "I don't know what to do." But underneath it, there is usually a familiar pattern your brain keeps choosing because it feels safe. Your comfort zone is not just a place. It is a psychological contract. It says, stay here, and you won't be judged. Stay here, and you won't fail publicly. Stay here, and you won't have to become responsible for your own life. But the price of that safety is your growth. And this is the dangerous part. Your comfort zone will not ruin you all at once. It will make your life smaller until small feels normal. Small goals. Small discipline. Small confidence. Small expectations. Small identity. Then one day, someone asks you what you really want, and you can barely answer. Not because you don't have dreams, but because you have spent so long negotiating with fear that your dreams stopped speaking loudly. That is why the quiet comeback requires discomfort. Not reckless pain. Not burnout. Not fake hustle. But honest discomfort. The discomfort of waking up when you said you would. The discomfort of training when you would rather sit. The discomfort of studying when nobody is forcing you. The discomfort of saving money when you want instant pleasure. The discomfort of being misunderstood while you are rebuilding. And yes, it will feel lonely sometimes. Because when you start changing quietly, the old version of your life will still try to recognize you. Your friends may still expect the old jokes. Your environment may still invite the old habits. Your mind may still whisper the old excuses. But this is the moment most people never reach. The moment where your old identity realizes you are leaving. And it fights back. It says, "This is not you." It says, "You always quit." It says, "Who do you think you are?" And your answer must be simple. I am becoming someone new. Not loudly. Not arrogantly. Quietly. Daily. The quiet comeback. Build yourself while nobody is watching. Now let's talk about the power of silent transformation. There is something deeply powerful about working on yourself without needing everyone to know. Because when you announce too early, you often get rewarded before you earn the result. People say, "I'm proud of you." They like the post. They encourage the plan. And your brain receives a small emotional reward for an identity you have not built yet. That can feel good. But it can also weaken your hunger. Silent work keeps the reward connected to the effort. You don't talk your way into confidence. You prove your way into it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, your identity shifts. Every time you do the boring thing that moves your life forward, you send your mind a message. I can trust myself. And that is one of the deepest forms of confidence. Not loud confidence. Not fake confidence. Quiet confidence. The kind that does not need to explain itself. The kind that walks into a room differently because it knows what it survived in private. This is why some people become unrecognizable after 6 months. It was not magic. It was not luck. It was not one motivational video. It was private repetition. They got tired of disappointing themselves. They stopped telling everyone their plans. They stopped waiting to feel ready. They picked a direction and started stacking proof. 1 workout. 1 page. 1 hour of deep work. 1 healthier meal. 1 uncomfortable conversation. 1 better choice. Again and again and again. And at first, nobody noticed. Then a few people noticed. Then everyone acted surprised. But it was never sudden. It was hidden. That is the secret. The visible breakthrough is usually the result of invisible discipline. And here is a cliffhanger most people never think about. The world may be ignoring you right now because it is not supposed to see this version of you. Maybe this season is not punishment. Maybe this season is protection. Maybe silence is giving you room to build without explaining. Because if everyone saw your early stage, their opinions might interrupt your growth. Their doubts might become your doubts. Their timelines might make you rush. Their approval might make you perform instead of improve. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is being underestimated. Because while they are not watching, you are free. Free to fail privately. Free to learn. Free to practice. Free to rebuild. Free to become dangerous in silence. So how do you actually do it? How do you build yourself while nobody is watching? Start with your identity. Not your goals. Your identity. Goals say, I want to lose weight. Identity says, I am becoming the kind of person who does not abandon my body. Goals say, I want more money. Identity says, I am becoming the kind of person who learns valuable skills and manages money with discipline. Goals say, I want confidence. Identity says, I am becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. Your life follows the identity you rehearse most often. If you keep rehearsing, I'm lazy, your brain will look for proof. If you keep rehearsing, I always fail, your brain will protect that story. But if you begin acting like the person you want to become, even in small ways, your mind starts collecting new evidence. So tonight, ask yourself, what would the next version of me do tomorrow morning? Not the perfect version. Not the millionaire version. Not the completely healed version. The next version. Would they wake up 30 minutes earlier? Would they go for a walk? Would they apply for the job? Would they clean the room? Would they stop texting someone who keeps pulling them backward? Would they train? Would they read? Would they finally start? Make the action small enough that you cannot hide behind overwhelm. Because the goal is not intensity. The goal is consistency. Most people fail because they try to change their entire life in one emotional burst. They watch one video, feel unstoppable, make 10 promises, and then collapse by Thursday. That is not discipline. That is emotional gambling. Real transformation is calmer. It says, I will do this one thing every day until it becomes part of me. So choose 3 quiet comeback habits. 1 for your body. 1 for your mind. 1 for your future. For your body, it could be 30 minutes of movement. Walking, lifting, stretching, running. It does not have to be fancy. Just teach your body that it is not being abandoned anymore. For your mind, it could be 10 pages of reading, journaling, meditation, or 20 minutes without your phone. Teach your mind that it does not need constant noise to feel safe. For your future, it could be 1 hour of skill building. Writing. Coding. Sales. Editing. Design. Public speaking. Studying. Building a business. Applying for better opportunities. Teach your future that you are finally showing up. And then track it. Not to impress anyone. To create proof. A simple checkmark on a calendar can become powerful because it shows you the truth. You are either voting for the old life or the new one. Every day is a vote. Every action is a vote. And you do not need to win every day perfectly. You just need to stop disappearing from your own life. Here is another mental exercise. Before you sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do today that the old me would not have done? Where did I let comfort control me? What is one promise I will keep tomorrow, no matter how small? These questions create awareness. And awareness is where change begins. Because you cannot defeat patterns you refuse to see. Now, maybe you are thinking, but I have already wasted so much time. Listen carefully. Regret can either become a prison or a weapon. If you use regret to shame yourself, it will drain you. But if you use regret as information, it can sharpen you. It can show you what matters. It can show you what your future will look like if nothing changes. It can make the cost of staying the same impossible to ignore. You are not behind because you are starting quietly. You are behind only if you refuse to start at all. Some of the most powerful people in history had silent seasons. Abraham Lincoln lost elections before becoming one of America's most remembered presidents. Michael Jordan was once cut from his varsity basketball team before becoming a symbol of relentless competitive greatness. J.K. Rowling wrote through rejection and hardship before her work changed her life. You do not have to copy their path. But you can learn from the pattern. The world often sees the result, not the lonely process. The speech, not the doubt. The championship, not the practice. The book, not the rejection letters. The comeback, not the quiet nights where quitting would have been easier. And that is the proof. Transformation is not usually loud at first. It is repetitive. It is private. It is built through identity, attention, discomfort, and consistency. Psychology supports this in a simple way. Your brain strengthens what you repeat. Habits are not just actions. They become mental pathways. The more often you choose a behavior, the easier it becomes to choose again. That means every disciplined action is not just helping your day. It is training your nervous system to recognize a new normal. At first, discipline feels foreign. Then it feels uncomfortable. Then it feels possible. Then it becomes who you are. That is why the beginning feels so hard. You are not just changing your schedule. You are changing your identity. You are teaching your brain to stop reaching for the old escape. You are proving that discomfort does not mean danger. You are proving that boredom does not mean failure. You are proving that silence does not mean nothing is happening. And when you understand that, you stop needing instant results. You start respecting the hidden process. The quiet comeback is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming honest. Honest about what you want. Honest about what you have been avoiding. Honest about who you have been becoming when nobody is watching. Because that is the real you. Not the version people see online. Not the version you describe in conversations. Not the version you imagine in your head. The real you is built by what you repeatedly do when there is no reward, no attention, and no pressure. That can be uncomfortable to admit. But it is also freeing. Because it means you have power. You do not need permission to begin. You do not need a perfect plan. You do not need everyone to understand. You need one decision. Then one action. Then one repeated promise. And one day, the people who ignored your process will meet your results. They will say, "You changed." But you will know the truth. You did not change in one moment. You changed in silence. You changed when you wanted to quit but stayed. You changed when you were tired but still showed up. You changed when nobody liked, commented, noticed, or praised you. You changed when the old life called your name and you did not answer. So here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, disappear from the noise. Not from life. Not from responsibility. From the noise. Stop announcing. Stop explaining. Stop waiting for motivation. Pick 3 habits. Body. Mind. Future. Do them every day for 7 days. Small enough to complete. Important enough to matter. And every night, write one sentence. Today, I voted for the person I am becoming. That is it. No drama. No excuses. No public performance. Just proof. And if you fail one day, do not turn failure into identity. Do not say, "I am back to 0. Say, "I missed 1 vote. Tomorrow I vote again." Because the quiet comeback is not destroyed by one bad day. It is destroyed when you use one bad day as permission to abandon yourself. Do not abandon yourself. Not this time. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of your private discipline. A calmer version. A stronger version. A version with self-respect in their eyes. A version that does not need to beg for attention because they have built something real inside themselves. And the only way to meet that version is to begin before anyone notices. So build quietly. Heal quietly. Learn quietly. Train quietly. Save quietly. Focus quietly. Let them underestimate you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them think nothing is happening. Because while they are watching the world, you are building the person they will not recognize. This is the quiet comeback. Build yourself while nobody is watching. And remember this. The loudest success often begins with the quietest decision. The moment you choose yourself when nobody is there to clap.